Hi everybody, what I'm going to do today is to show you how to go to hotcards.com and create your own account, and how we'll go ahead and customize the rack card. That's the two-sided cardboard card, and we've already put some pricing up on the WellFit community site, but I'll show you guys how you can go ahead and order these in quantity and have them sent directly to you. Now what you'll also be able to do is to create labels if you don't want to buy in bulk for every specific thing. Let's say that you have several different doctor's offices or something like that, and you could just get one master card printed, and then you could use labels to customize them. So I am at hotcards.com. They have a newer site and they have an older site. The Hotcards Classic is still the easier one to use. And so at the top, I'm just clicking on, Are You Afraid of Change? And we're going to Hotcards. Now, what you do there is you're going to go to print, and then commercial printing, and rack cards. Whoops, my fingers are too big, and I just chose the wrong one. Let me use my cursor instead. So I'm going to rack cards, and to see the pricing on here, what we can do is the standard dimensions are going to be 3.5 by 8.5. So these are the 3.5 inches wide, 8.5 inches tall, and we're going to go with the 12-point cardstock. There's heavier cardstock, but the heavier the cardstock is, the more it's going to cost you guys to ship, because they ship out of Cleveland and actually Toledo and several different locations, and so you are going to have to pay shipping on this. So when you go over here and you choose a quantity, you can choose 100, and it's going to give you a price per. I highly encourage you guys to buy at least a couple thousand, because you can see they're 60 cents a piece. By the time you're up to 15,000, they're 3 cents a piece. The last batch I bought was 5,000. It was $178 at 4 cents each, and plus shipping. In my case, I am able to just pick those up. And there's tax on that too, and so I believe that may either be Cleveland's tax or wherever it is that you live. I'm not quite sure how they do that. So the first step that you do after you have to have your account created, they may not make you create the account until later, is to go ahead and get the pricing, decide on your quantity, and you're first going to pay and then you're going to upload the files. It's also going to tell you they have a 2-day turnaround time. So this is actually Tuesday afternoon, but their cutoff time is 2:00 p.m. So if we were to order by tomorrow at 2:00, they would be ready to ship by Friday afternoon. And so you can get an estimate here of what shipping would cost. Jeff, do you happen to know a zip code like down where Rod is? We can give them a Florida one to give an idea.
At the top of my head, tell you the truth.
Okay. Anyhow, what you do is you click Add to Cart. And what it's going to do is it's going to make you go ahead and check out and pay. You're going to have several different payment options for people that live in Cleveland. If you decide to pick them up, they do have COD. I'm not sure if that's available to everybody. I know it is for me because I've been using them for years. And so the next step is going to take you to where you have to upload the cards. And so, Jeff, you wanted to go ahead and check out and upload one?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Want me to just do it underneath my account, or do you want to create your own account?
You can do it underneath your
I can do yeah, okay, and then I can do COD, and then you could just go pick them up.
There you go.
And what we're doing is I'm going to be the one creating the artwork for you guys, so we're going to have a sample put on the WellFit sharing site that shows the wording, and it's going to be the same for everybody. The only thing that's going to change is at the bottom of the card. Okay, so I'm going to do this for pickup, right, Jeff?
Okay.
Okay, so that's the tax in Cleveland. And so pay by COD, I'm going to place the order. And this is where we continue to upload the files. At this point, I'm going to create 2 files for you guys. It's a PDF front and a PDF back. And so I'm just going to show you at this point how we go ahead and upload those. But Jeff, I'm going to stop because I don't have your file loaded here. Oops. So you choose your file, and I'm going to email these files to you guys. It's going to be a PDF. It's going to be camera ready. And so then what you guys need to do is just to download those onto your computer somewhere where you're not going to forget. And I'll go in here and go into our fake ones. And I'm just going to use mine as an example.
That's fine. We can do this for real tomorrow.
Okay, well here, here's the one that we have. And then I'm going to upload the file. And then I'm going to choose the back. So this is going to come in a front and a back. So a lot of times printers will just need one file. In our case, we need two. Oops. Let's see here. I have a few. Choose file. And so then all I'm doing is I'm choosing the file, and then I'm just browsing to that location. Or select it to existing file. Upload the file. Now, once you've had things on your account already, if you could see where it says or selected existing file, it gives you that option to go ahead and upload something that you've already had at their offices and printed before. This is the important part. Never agree and proof and send to press without having looked very, very carefully at these, because you guys, I'm going to make the changes, but you guys really have to be diligent in making sure that it's what you wanted. Because once you hit that approve and you approve and send to press, you are getting those files. And if I send it to you and you didn't catch something, you're on the hook for the money. I don't know how else to say it nicely. And so what they're going to do is they're going to send you a proof, and it's going to be both of these, the front and the back. Jeff and I have made a few more changes on this, so we'll probably show you that tonight or next Tuesday. But then this way you have to approve that file, and then it's gone to print, and they'll notify you via email. Since this order was already placed, they've already given us on the prior screens the order number, and so if you have to call into them, you want to reference that order number. So that's all for right now. So 2 days later, you have your files, and let's say that you wanted to go ahead and put a label on them. I'll show you an example here. Take one. And so here's the front of the card. Let me reduce the size on this. And here I just put the Health Excellence Way, so that if those ever got into anybody's hands, if the wind blew and they started scattering on the street, somebody would have a way. You never want to leave that blank. But I also have labels, and what I do for my labels is I go into Word and I create a blank document, and I go to mailings. Now, depending on the version of Word that you have, this might be a little bit different, but for the most part, even in the newer versions and the older versions, you go through this. You want to go into mailings, and then you're going to click on labels. And you're going to create a label. You're going to do a full page of the same label. And this is where maybe I'll say 10 penny integrative, and I'll say the website. And maybe I'll say call Nancy at my phone number. Like that. And you could go 4 labels deep, and what you're going to do is you want the full page of the same label, but when you go into options, one of the most readily available labels out there is an Avery 5160. So you're going to pull down to the label vendors. I'm underneath label options now, and you're just going to look for Avery. I think it's the US letter. And it's called a 5160. So then you just scroll to it, and if you notice, they're not necessarily in a numeric order, because up here we're in the 007, and then we're in the 5-digit numbers, and so we've got to scroll all the way down to a 5160. And I went too far. 5160. Come on. Okay, easy peel address labels, and click OK. Once you've done this once, it should most likely stay on 5160. And then what I do is I create a new document, and boom, there you go. I save this to a Word document, and I'll label it 10-penny labels. And then what I do is I print out one master one because it's easier, and you're not going to get your labels upside down and backwards as often if you just print one on paper, and then you could just copy to the labels. And so you could find these at Office Max. You could use their generic Office Max version, or Sam's Club is another good place to get these. And then the way the card is designed is it's going to have space at the bottom just that you can put that label on there. And so then you just customize them. So that's pretty much it. It's very easy. And so what I need to know is I just need to know exactly what it is that you want at the bottom. And once you've had 10 sales and you've had a replicated site, it's much easier to go ahead and either have your own URL or have myahe.org/your sponsor, your AR number after that. Anything else, Jeff?
What if you wanted to do a half label where you got half the thing printed because you want to have different doctor contact info, so you got your info constant? Can you do that, like you said, so it's always got something printed on it?
Yeah, you could. What you'd have to do is just go in and find a new label. I mean, I just slap that label right over top, because if you've ever tried putting labels on a couple hundred of these cards, you want to get fast at it, and I think that the time that you're trying to save or the money that you're trying to save by having a little skinny label, you certainly don't want to cut the label in half. You're going to have to buy labels that way. I mean, I could take a look here and see what kind what the sizes are, but I'd have to go in there and find it.
All right. Well, as I say, that could be a topic for another day, and then maybe it is more hassle.
Yeah.
Worth, so.
Yeah, and you can see here that they'll tell you what the height and the width is.
All right. So figure.
But it's almost easier to it's just easier to retype what was on there and just slap it over the whole thing rather than trying to get that particular with where you place the label. That's just my own personal opinion.
And that being the case, you could just have your personal information, and then if it's to go to a doctor somewhere else, we got to have even more info. Then you just cover up that little bit that was you with that same info and the new doctor info as well. So.
Yeah, and we do have a little bit more room now with the new format on the front of the card.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit more room down there.
Okay.
So it wasn't as tight as the other one.
When anyone's following up with you about getting that artwork set up or those content in there, they can certainly confer with you on that, some advice on that side of it. So. Right,
and they can just send that to Nancy at myahe.org, and I need to know the website, the phone number, the name. Then I create the PDF, and then you guys go to hotcards.com and set up your own. And